to what you said on paper.
I wish that I could freely dream and be judged from within, hunted by a power that cannot see past my skin. My views are viewed as ignorant, my truth always denied. My history.
Good morning. Welcome back to At the Round Table, man. What a lively morning. You know, that hour goes by quick. You know, glad to be here on this cold winter morning after being in sunny Florida for 10 days. You know, it was a struggle to get back here, you know. So, welcome back to you listening At the Round Table with me, man. Don't mind my complaining here. Like I said, it's just cold. Pastor Hobbs is going to turn the heat up a little bit, so I'll feel at home here, you know. With me today, my brother Rhodes, the Rhodes Scholar, is in the house here. Good morning, brother Rhodes.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. And the doctor is off today. He has a family in.
Oh, well, you know, but we'll still, hopefully we'll be able to get that checkup from the neck up.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. He'll be back next week. And he's going to be all that pent up energy, right? Going to get out there. And we want to thank our sponsor, The Money Store. For all your mortgage needs, give branch manager Cora Holbrook a call at area code 508-345-4726. That's 508-345-4726. Also a reminder, Boston Praise Radio and TV. Praise is What We Do telethon will be taking place tomorrow, Sunday, November 30th, 2025 from 4 p.m. here at Boston Praise Radio and TV, streaming live at 102.9 FM and on all your social media outlets. So, folks, this is a worthwhile cause. We're trying to raise money. Not the MAMLEO. We're fortunate. We've been here probably one of the longest broadcasts here. We started on the AM side and years ago, Dr. Bradley and I, and we have been proud to add to an addition several folks. And then lately, our latest addition is our brother Rose, who, you know, is family. You know, matter of fact, he's been upgraded to where we have a sweatshirt coming for. You know, he's keep him warm.
Feel the warmth already.
We want to keep him alive. You know, 'cause I felt bad when I saw you here last week with a T-shirt. I'm like, you know, he ain't looking at the calendar, but we don't want folks to feel like you're a stepchild. We love you, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. So
I appreciate you guys as well.
Yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, you know, that it's a great thing that you guys do. The work that you guys do.
What we?
Okay, the work that we do. No, but I appreciate the fact that MAMLEO, as an organization, was not just there about taking care of themselves. They were out there always doing community outreach, and it wasn't just about taking care of the members of the rank, but non-members of the rank got taken care of as well. And so I definitely, and it's a very tough position to be in, because I read the old autobiography of Malcolm X, and that was one of the toughest things he said, being a black police officer, where your rights to be able to police were, you can police the black community, but you better not do anything in the white community. It was just to me, like, again, the fact that you guys survived the institution and organize, and within that you guys are able to grow and move through the ranks. That's amazing.
Quick story before we introduce our guest, and Pastor Hobb has some comments. So I'm going to let him get to it in a second. To your point there, as a young officer, I started out working in Area B2, Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan. You know, and you had a rotation after 6 months. For the first 6 months, it was like, hey, you got to, get your tickets and all of that. You know, you're writing them. And then after my rotation, I was transferred to the station in West Roxbury. I drove out there. First of all, I drove past the place because it doesn't even look like a police station out there, right? It's, if you've ever seen it, you'll see it looks like a house, right? And it didn't even have a sign out front, right? So I was like, do they even have an unlisted number there? Because it's a police station. So I say that because I continued with the same work ethic, and I was out my first day, and I was out writing tickets. The sergeant called me and he said, "We don't do that out here." So that's to your point. I'm like, what we did is in Roxbury, we reinforced these same violations. But so it was really an eye opener. But Pastor Hobbs, you have some comments before we introduce our guest?
Sure. So our sister Michelle, who is tuned in, she is saying good morning as well.
Is that Michelle Ferguson?
No.
Oh,
this
okay.
is a sister.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I love Michelle.
So
I
sorry.
do.
This one too.
No, I don't miss Michelle too.
This is our sister Michelle, who's a member of our church, who tunes in faithfully
Well, thank you
and
for your
she's saying
support.
good morning.
Good morning,
as
Michelle.
well as Brother Cliff is saying good morning.
I'm Brother Cliff.
As well as Sister Ibina all the way from Australia.
Oh, yeah. It's summer there.
Not only, it is, right? Because I was there. This is my time that I go there, right? So she was saying, so she's just typing away a mile a minute. But what she said is, Larry has become quite a screen personality. And I love Rhodes. He's so funny. She says, when he sorts of wanders off in his own comments, she says, everyone, oh, well, she says, he's Haitian. He's so sweet. Right? She's saying, look, I'm listening, and I'm almost watching each week. She's a faithful tuner to the broadcast. So,
thank you.
Those are just some of the comments that people are.
We truly appreciate it, and trust me, we don't take it for granted. We know it's early on a Saturday morning. People could be doing other things. We're not radio personalities. We just come in and try to provide a service to the community. And yes, this brother is funny, and it's funny because, Rose and I met and we just hit it off, and then he came in one day and he came on the show and he has never left. So don't invite him to your house, folks.
He said, you got something to say, just come on down. I was like, okay.
Exactly.
And I was like, he was being very serious. And I said, okay.
No, this is what I'm saying. It's about family. It's about building, and what it also does is, because we kind of forget that, because people probably get offended when you call them black. I'm like, we're all black.
Yes. We're all African.
We have a little cultural differences,
yes.
And I wouldn't even call them differences to where we should be getting in these silos. We should be working together. So I thank all those folks out there.
But if you break the word down, human, it's man, and you means a different color shade. But we're all men.
That's right. To that point, right? Yeah. Before I left, I was a little 2 shades lighter, and I was in Florida for 9 days.
A little roasted in the sun.
Yes. You see my kids.
But it's funny, during the summertime, people will go out and try to get darker.
Get
with
that
tan.
melanin.
Exactly.
So,
and then during the winter,
I thank you all who took the time to send those comments. Appreciate them and keep them coming. And like I said, we're going to continue to do here. But this is why the fundraiser for Boston Praise tomorrow, if people can donate. And Pastor House, what's the Cash App if people want to say it?
$capital BPRTB.
Okay, because the only reason I say I guess is on his phone. I figure he can send a little Cash App.
Hey, that works. That works.
He's texting. But no, in all seriousness, we want to try to get this where folks can have it, and it may not be the MAMLEO, but where we can have this conversation Monday through Friday, right? And to be able to fund that, because in these times we need to hear from each other. Yeah. Right.
Listen, I'll just say real quickly. People don't understand. I heard our brother Danny Santana talk about we don't compare. I mean, I call him Bishop Law, 77 years young, the senior pastor of Global Ministries Christian Church, right? Who is the founder of this station, the visionary, the only black-owned. Talk about supporting black business
and licensed,
FCC licensed multimedia platform that's in the lower level of a church.
Hello,
right? And so it's in the lower level, and when something happens in this war, the one thing that they want to take, that they always want to take out, is media. Right. So this is the only thing that we own, independent.
And think about that powerful. Historically, where have we always come when we were in times of need was the church.
The church.
And so that this broadcast is in the church.
Pastor has done it righteously. It's like the tortoise and the hare, right? So he's been slow and steady, right? So it's multimedia platform. Sister tuning in all the way from Australia. This is a global community of care that's doing it righteously. And that quite candidly is expanding the kingdom of God.
And in Australia, it's not early in the morning.
No, it's like a Sunday night or something like that. It's like their time frame is totally different. But she's committed to tuning into this because she's actually a person who is all about understanding, addressing racism and classism, and these are principalities. So I say this not to be cliche, but the urgency, because again, we have, what's his name? Jamal talked a little bit before about some of the challenges that we had about trying to shut this down. So it's so important that people sow into this vision, and they do that urgently. Amen. And the telethon is one way to do that, and even now you can do and we're gonna via Cash App.
You can do that. So Rose, without further ado, our guest is here, been patiently waiting over there.
Brother Winston Pierre. I've known this brother for definitely for a while. He's part of the community. This gentleman is very talented and inspirational. He is not only run a very successful campaign for citywide council. District
5.
District 5, representing people from Rosendale, Mattapan, and High Park. You know, a lot of a big Haitian community being represented there throughout those communities, and he's also a manager, I believe it or not, at the Massport. So he understands the transportation challenges that this country, or this state in particular, in Boston faces. So I'm so happy to be able to welcome here today to just again enlighten us of what he's doing and helping out the community.
Absolutely, thank you so much for having me. After an exhausting campaign, my message out there was that for everyone whose concern has been our care, the work continue. And it's fitting that one of my first interviews after the campaign is right here with a group of people who've been giving so much to the community. I'm looking at Pastor Hall, I'm looking at you, Rod, I'm looking at you, Larry, and talking about how do we continue to be present and creating a voice for minority in Boston, especially as of now.
Intentionally.
Right? And it's fitting. So thank you so much for having me.
So you were unsuccessful in your bid, right? But and the reason why I bring that up, not to criticize you for that, is that it's rare that people will still come and want to do the work. It's rare that they'll come on the show after they have not been successful in getting what they want. So I applaud you for that. And I think it's important because what it shows is that it wasn't just about you. Because actually, I was just saying off the air, when you told me what you do, I'm like, I'm surprised your wife wasn't voting against you. You know, I'm sure you make a whole lot more money at Massport. Because I remember when he said, I don't know if you remember, up at the...
Snickerball?
No, on American Legion Highway, I moderated a debate in which you were in, and I'm like, oh, this brother's pretty sharp, you know. Didn't know that's the first time ever meeting you was there, and now I'm getting a little bit more about your background. It all ties in together. So before we get to you, let's grab this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the round table. Caller, you there?
Yes, part of stuff is me again, and I didn't want.
No,
and I didn't. It's Jamal Peace.
Yep.
I didn't want to interrupt. I just heard what Brother Hobbs was saying in terms of Pastor Wall. So just the fact that this radio station is really a blessing, and Pastor Wall, because I remember years ago, you know, I was one of the people that he reached out to as this technology was becoming, you know, new. You know, back when he had like an AOL, you know, address and whatnot. But give thanks for this old guy being able to grasp onto this new technology, you know, and being able to absorb it, and now being proficient at all these things, Facebook, YouTube, so on and so forth. I just wanted to interject that, and hopefully, again, we'll be able to speak about Antenna Gate. But in the meantime, look, put me back on hold. I'm just going to listen to my brother, who I have not met, and I hope to meet. And Nabule.
Wow. That's right.
Wow. Jamal, definitely get a pass with that one.
Wow.
That's an A+.
He's been practicing. But this is where I think the diversity and the exchanging of information and getting to know each other, right? Not seeing each other as scary, right? We're interacting, because that is really what has been this division amongst us, right? So that's why. So I'm glad. That's why I said to Brother Rose, I'm like, look, if you know people out in the community, don't wait. You know, I tell him, I don't have to book all the guests, you know, and I'm glad he's comfortable saying, hey, I'm reaching out to the community, because I always ask him, what's the update? What's going on in Haiti? Because we should all be concerned about our brothers and sisters, because we all brothers and sisters, and we get into this silo where we just think, well, it's not my problem, until it becomes your problem.
Well, again, I love making this quote. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Absolutely.
Martin Luther King, all right? So that's all I got to say.
Sorry that time back in, but not for nothing, too. We not just brothers. Haiti is our big brother. How about that?
That's right.
The first nation in the Western Hemisphere to throw off the yoke of colonialism.
Hello. And that's why they're still fighting.
Exactly. We've been paying for it ever since.
Exactly. So, Winston, tell folks a little bit more about yourself. Did you grow up here, or did you grow up in Haiti and you moved here? Let's get a little bit about yourself so folks understand
Grew up in Haiti and moved here, went to Westie, Raider, West Roxbury High School. End up going to UMass Boston. From UMass Boston, I went to BU for my master. And in terms of work, we've been at City Hall, we've been at Capitol Hill, we've been with Governor Baker, and now we're at Massport. And most recently, as you mentioned, we run for Boston City Council District 5 because at that time, and still now, I believe that in a city of Boston that is so rich, city of Boston where there's so much wealth, it makes no sense to have so many working families struggling. I believe it in that back then. I still believe that right now. And as we head into 2026, well, before I move to 2026, let me say happy holiday to every faithful listeners and everyone who tune in as of now. Whether you celebrate the spirit of holiday, Kwanzaa, Indigenous People Days, however you frame it in your own culture, in your own way. One thing to be reminded, this is a time of sharing love. Whether you can call a family member, whether you can give a donation to your preferred charity. This is the time of the year that we look upon after one another.
And include Boston Praise Radio.
Don't forget this little station right here.
Exactly.
So Winston, how do we build on these type of relationships, right? Because, that's what I've tried to do as president of MAMLEO, even just as law enforcement, as a human being, right? Was to reach out to different cultures, but people who have even different walks of life, like according to statistics, Jamal and I should not be as close as we are, right? Because in their mind, we were on opposite sides of the track in our past. But you come full circle, right? And a lot of times we'll avoid people or things that we think are different from us, right? How do we build on reaching more out to, Roses, for example, to the Haitian community as an African American? Because a lot of times I know there's a language barrier, but that should not prohibit us from the humanity. Like on Sundays, and I do it intentionally. I've identified some Haitian churches, and when I first started coming up to them, because I know a lot of the folks are really paralyzed about going out as much, and even more now since the Orange Man has said yesterday, he's going to stop anyone from coming from, and he's only identified black countries or whatever, right, from coming in here. When I show up and they start speaking to me in Creole, and I don't understand what they're saying, but they think I must be Haitian because I'm helping. And then we get to know each other, and now it's like a big family. It's like, wow. But if we don't take that leap of faith, we'll never know each other. How do we build on that, my brother?
What was the Jamal? Jamal who said "Sak passe"?
He said "Naboule."
Naboule. Yeah. To me, that was a big teddy bear hug.
Wow. Okay.
At a time where being Haitian, whether in the diaspora or in Haiti.
So for those of us, including myself, who don't know what that means, what's the hug he just gave you guys?
How are you?
Oh, okay.
It's just it's the simple courtesy, it's the simple of acknowledging this language exists. It's the simple.
Tell him the real meaning.
Oh, y'all holding it out on me? Huh? Okay.
Well, so what's literally means "sak passe" means what's happening. What's happening?
"Sak passe."
Okay. Like what happened or what's happening. And
Naboule?
That means, okay, in Haiti, you understand it's hot, so they say that means we're burning.
Between Komoye.
Komoye, that means how are you?
Okay.
That means how are you?
That's it, I'm out of here. I can see that's hard.
We trying, right?
No. I'm going to have to.
And also, if you understand about the idea of fire, it is a chemical reaction. Yeah. And so when they mean Naboule, that means we're working together. Like there's something happening. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's not just kind of like, hey, we're burning. It is hot, but it's like there's something happening. We're working. Yes.
So it's a slang.
So Winston, one of the things that Jamal and I do on Sundays is we've had a relationship with Trader Joe's, and actually, this is where I'm saying, Jamal, about these relationships where Winston probably would have been a good resource when you would start, because I know that happened to me when you couldn't make it that Thanksgiving I picked up. It was almost like the same thing. I'm like, what am I going to do with all this? I was out till almost midnight trying to get rid of food because I didn't want it to go to waste.
Wow.
And I'm sure, I would love to partner with you in identifying more Haitian communities, folks in the Haitian community that are in need in these food insecurities. To be able to help out with our brothers and sisters, because that's part of, like they always say, down south, it was always breaking bread. It was always a meal together is what brought us together. So
right. No, I mean the cases and the situation we are mentioning when it come about to food insecurity is not only the Haitian, in the black community and the senior community. In fact, during Thanksgiving, I received so many calls from so many senior buildings where they say, this year I haven't received any Thanksgiving. It's like, wow, right? If you go to, I'm not mentioning some of those buildings, but we have some senior building. It was, thanks to, I don't like to publicize what you do as a person. It was like, okay, there are some places where I have to take fun out of my own pocket to bring them some stuff, right? And some people, oh my God, how come they forget about us? Some people are saying election's over, nobody come seeing us. That's real.
Yeah.
Not only we have the senior building, we have some disabled building as well. People with disability, they don't have the mobility to go to the those waiting line.
Yeah.
And everywhere you go, everyone is doing a turkey drive, right? And who they reach out to, right? How do they deliver the service to the people who need it the most? I'm not saying the people who on the street, people who come, don't need it, but also we have critical community in Boston who doesn't have access to transportation, who doesn't have the contact, or we were talking about Haitian American who might not even speak the language,
right?
All right, and that's why I comment when the spirit of partnership can be, it's something that we must do, and one thing that I did when I worked for the city of Boston is because I see the MAMLEO. I was in charge of the cadet program.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
How do we make sure that we create a community where we enforce the concept of community policing, meaning that young people in our neighborhood, right? Giving the example you mentioned earlier, young people in our neighborhood get the trade.
Yeah.
Young people in our neighborhood get the skill set needed to be able to become a police. Back then in 2019, 2021, 79% of police captains were white. Right?
It's greater
up
now.
To 94 was sergeant were also white. And in a city of Boston where we say 53% we're majority, something of that nature, it's critical that we continue to build on that work, where we are going to the churches, which is, by the way, a critical constituency that I don't think the city has done a great job enough to tap into that, especially when it comes to sharing information or resources.
Yeah.
I know during the pandemic, everybody relied back on the church. Hey, talk to the church so they can help with the vaccine. Well, the pandemic's over. We can still use the churches as a medium to communicate information and get the people involved.
So I'm going to grab this other call. Jamal, stand by. But see, this is where you, because I find, and correct me if I'm wrong, because that's why I asked you, were you born here or did you come here? Because I find that most folks who come here have a better appreciation and understanding and a better work ethic than folks who were born here and think it was like this all their lives, right? That they don't identify, don't understand the sense of urgency. You came here with your family, you educated yourself, you're doing well, but you're trying to reach back. And I think we're losing that part of ourselves, right? Because there's nothing wrong with us, the difference in our cultures. Not only difference in that we can't get along, is that we're different people. But we can all work together and learn about each other. We just won't take the time to do so. And now, like here in Boston, like Jamal and I have this conversation all the time. It's like, I'm like, wait a minute, looking at your resume, I don't understand if I'm probably, and I haven't seen the other persons, but comparing him, like, this brother's better suited to deal with. We're talking about $1 billion budgets, and we have people who can't even manage their own bills every month that are elected into office, and they keep getting reelected, and they're wondering why the situation doesn't change, because we don't have people who have a skill set to run it. Like, you wouldn't hire them to deal with your finances, but yet you're entrusting them with a multi-billion-dollar budget. It makes no sense. Let's grab this call, and then we'll get back to you. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the roundtable.
Good morning. I have a question for you guys, sir.
Okay.
And my question is, again, this is professional, not personal, but since he worked in government, what was the takeaways, if any, or experience that he learned within the system when he was running for District 5?
Right. One of the main takeaway is we need to stay organized and involved. A reason why I'm saying that, my campaign was based on three things I want to push forward. Number one, more equity on the budget. If you look at the city of Boston, which has a 4.6 billion, most of our community like at Mattapan, High Park, Rosendale, Whitville, and so forth, District 5 was set to receive 1.5 million out of 4.6 billion.
Wow.
And there's also a community when you compare High Park, Mattapan, and Wilkes-Barre. This is a community where we have shortest life expectancy, where we tend to have some of the greatest need for food insecurity, where we tend to say the have and have not. Yet those community, when you look at the budget, when you're looking at fiscal spending, these are the community who tend to receive less money. And I believe if our community were involved, they would have done a better job in holding our elected accountable. And Mattapan was the second district. District 4 was the second district who also received the less amount. So we get District 5 1.5, District 4 2.5, and again, I believe if Brother Jamal Road and Pastor Hub was giving the opportunity to be chiming in, they will have said, no, we deserve better because we have greater need, right? We have that lack of transparency in city government as of now. There's so many infighting, people getting viral for social media for things that is not related to our community. And now the job governing is being shaped by who can get the most content out there.
Right.
You see more content creator as opposed to people who's out there doing the work, coming to the show like that and say, hey, this is the budget and this is what I'm thinking about doing. Pastor Hub, you've been working with a good constituency. Ward, I know that you're involved in the community and you work in law enforcement. What are the community needs? That's how the conversation should be shaped.
But usually those folks are shut out because they won't kiss the ring, right? They won't capitulate to just, okay, now that I've given you something, I own you. And those of us who won't subscribe to that are left out of the conversation. And to your point of the budget, the largest chunk of that, and this year is projected to be close to $1.7 billion. And the mayor and the superintendent of schools just announced the other day that they're closing even more schools than they initially were on the chopping block because the population is declining. And we can't get anyone on the council to ask, why are we spending more for less when we have the need in so many other areas? But I really thought, honestly, based on what I was seeing, that there would be more of an interest in the election when people complaining about how expensive it is to own a home in Boston and just to live in Boston in general, the gentrification. But the polls didn't show that, or I find there's less people voting.
Right.
So a small population is deciding for the vast majority of the people in the city. Let's grab this. Good. You want to answer? Good.
No, that's why you said with MLK. I'm thinking about this MLK too. That say our faith begin to die the moment we become silent to think that matters. At the time right now, I was expecting a good turnout, given what is at stake. Number one, we know from federal government there was about 300 million federal cut that impact food, that impact Medicaid, that impact Medicare. We also know that BPS was impacted. We also know that BHA was impacted. We also know that for the next year or two, they might not have no public house being built in the face of that.
So I guess when you were out there on the campaign, I'm sure you must have talked to more people than voted who were talking about they weren't pleased with what's going on, that you would think that there would have been enough of a swell of people to vote their own interests rather than staying home. I guess it just doesn't add up to me why we're seeing the same thing. And I honestly believe things are going to get worse, except with the cuts that are already there. Because right now, the holidays, people are a little bit more generous and they give out. But just like that ad is saying, teach me to fish, I'll eat forever. Feed me a fish, I'll eat for a day. The turkeys are gone, right? What are we going to do for those same folks? Their need is not gone because Thanksgiving, they've gotten them through that one day.
Right. And again, we have the budget for it. We have the money for it. That's one of the many things I was calling for as a city council candidate. I was calling for the municipal grocery store, and people think that was crazy, and nobody give it like any mind. Now, I believe Woobsy and Liz Brandon are pushing for that. And again, it's not about credit for me. It's about making sure that communities are being taken care of.
Because we had stores like the Daily Table, which
Daily
was affordable.
Table.
Those have closed down,
closed,
and we're not there. Let's grab these comments, and then we'll grab the other comment from Dick.
Well, you got some callers, but the comments. So Eric Kennedy once said that we need to resurrect the Explorer program. I'm not sure where that was about the police department.
Yes, that was young folks who weren't cadets. There was a program where they came in, high school kids, and they got a chance to work inside the station. They had these brown uniforms on, and they got a chance to see if that was something of interest to them.
Right.
So it was a good program. I think he was part of it.
Yeah, and so Sister Michelle, she said that she went to Westy, and she said,
"Shout out Westy Raiders, let's go!"
She saw your name during the campaign, but she didn't see you anywhere or knew who you were. She said, absolutely. She talked about, this is with another comment she said with regard to people who come here who work hard. She's from Jamaica, by the way. Wow. Right? She said, absolutely, we don't take this opportunity for granted. When we come here, we're grateful and on a mission to make our lives better.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for those comments. That's true. That's what I'm saying, is that I don't like these. I think we sometimes take for granted that it's like this everywhere when we're born here.
Can I interject right quick?
Absolutely. It's a talk.
So first of all, to sister from Jamaica, peace and blessings, and everything that's going on with Jamaica right now, as well as all of our Haitian listeners, as well as everything that's going on in Haiti right now. You dig? Because it's no fun.
No.
Right. What I want to say though is culturally, this is where I believe the disease or the poison of America has come in, because or how they say, gratitude is the attitude.
Yes.
Right. So oftentimes when we're delivering to people of other cultures, immigrant groups, whether it's any one of the, Latino or African or Haitian, Caribbean, what have you, first of all, they will accept food that other people will shun. And when I say that, I'm talking about like, I don't want none of them vegetables. Y'all ain't got no steak.
Right. No,
you know what I mean?
Jamal, it's funny you say that, because when I go to the Haitian churches and the Haitian complexes, that's the first thing they're looking for is the fresh vegetables and stuff.
Right.
They don't want the
and they call it by name.
Yes, they don't want that processed stuff.
And not for nothing, I've been around different cultural groups where it's the same thing, but they all have different names for it.
Right.
Okay. Right. So the Asians or whatever, and anytime you in a supermarket like a Save-A-Lot or even particularly the Asian markets, you can see who's in what aisle.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of meat, lot of fish for us. We want that steak. We want that salmon. Whatever.
Fresh.
Vegetables, not so much. We don't know nothing about the yuca. We don't know nothing about none of that other stuff.
Right.
Well, we also, people in the frozen food grabbing the processed stuff, which is not good for you. This is why we have a lot of the health issues we have, is because that stuff, food was not made to last for 10 years or a year.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's Campbell's soup.
Exactly. Dicko, you had any other comment before we grab this other call? I know you said you had another comment for our guest, a question.
Yeah, when he answered go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dicko.
When he answered my question, I appreciate he did. Dumb down as a listening audience member what he mean by equity, yes?
What do you mean by
equity? What do I mean by equity? Looking at the budget, it goes back to the budget. I was talking about like 4.6 billion. If Mattapan High Park wasn't there, Wilkes-Barre, where we have highest concentration of minority, black and brown folks are receiving less money, that's inequity in the budget, right?
Yeah.
And when we're talking about like the fact that Mattapan and Wilkes-Barre have shortest life expectancy, that's inequity for me. And reason why I tend to emphasize on the word inequity, because in recent time we have the new edition coming up to Boston. We also have different flag raising at City Hall, and people are confusing this motion for progress, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't.
Right. And to your point, because I think you very, very valid point there. I think some people say, well, the population in the Boston public schools is more minority and they're spending a bulk of the money there. But what people don't understand is the bulk of that is administrative. It's not like the kids. We spend the most per student. Right. But if you look at that as far as what we're getting out of it, we're getting very little. It's not on the kids. It's administrative. So the large chunk of that is not improving the lives of our kids in the classrooms, even though we have the largest population.
It's improving the lives of a lot of bureaucrats. And,
the mayor just gave the superintendent a $8,000 raise for a system that's. I'm not blaming her for it, but you have to say, well,
why are you giving her a raise if the system's not getting better?
Well, most people would.
We continue to have one of the lowest level of reading literacy skills when you graduate from BPS. That is one of the many things I was pushing for. Not only I was talking about like municipal grocery store for places where we have food insecurity or food desert. Also, I was talking about like make sure our school system is more efficient. One of the way that we can do that, I was looking at some of those medical programs where we have job training being included or incorporated in the curriculum and after school program.
Yeah,
that's one of the many things that we should have been looking into. For
what happened to Madison? Yeah, when it used
the vocational
school. Right. Yes, that's a good point.
Absolutely.
And then we advocate this.
So, Dick, I hope you answered your questions. We got to grab these other calls, but thank you for always being a loyal listener and for calling in. Appreciate you, brother.
One more thing.
Yep, go ahead.
Keep supporting People's Academy.
All right, People's Academy, absolutely.
And don't forget the financial literacy.
And don't forget to make a donation. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the roundtable.
Good morning, Larry. It's Eric Kennedy again.
Good morning. The Kennedys are calling.
We're having some great conversations today, so I had to call in. But I had two comments. One, with your guest there saying that he was in charge of the cadet program, which is a great program, but when I was younger, it all started with the Explorer program.
Well, they were running. They were both running at the same time. And
exactly.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I'll comment. Yeah.
But the Explorer program fed into the cadet program, almost like you.
Yes.
Right. So it's almost like you look at your sports. You have the D League and all those other stuff going in there. So the Explorer program really got the young people like myself when I was younger really interested in the law enforcement and got us to see that the cops weren't the bad guys. But it also stemmed from having awesome community service officers that was actually in the community and of the community.
No, and to your point, because I know one of the people you're talking about, like Suzanne James, Charlie Dickinson. Charlie Dickinson was my mentor that got me involved at an early age in the real estate as a cadet. Because I think the both of them, I think Eric is right. The Explorers program was for younger people, and the reason why that came about was because the cadet program was already there, so it captured both of those folks, right? Because you didn't want to leave out people who had gone past the age of being an explorer, but now they could still have a vision or an insight into policing before they joined the force. I was a police cadet. I was never an explorer, so it gave me insight on, you know what? I can do this. It's attainable. And the Explorer program really gave you also that community-based policing early on.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then going further back with that was the Citizens Police Academy. I think they need to bring that back as well.
Yeah.
Because that gave a great insight on the inner workings of the police department and know exactly what happens once a 911 call is made. It gives us insight on the training that the police officers went through and dispelled that that one notion that when you see a police car with their lights and stuff going through the lights and stuff and then all of a sudden they shut it off, that he just wanted to get through traffic. We actually know what that's for, going through the Citizens Police Academy. So I think that's something that should be brought back as well.
No, it's a great program. In community policing, it's funny you say that because, when my group was the first class to go through the academy that's there in 80. They just renovated that place. And why, I don't know whose bright idea it was to renovate an elementary school for police training. and keep the bathrooms as if they were kindergartners in there, right, for adults, right? It was one of the, I'm telling you, everything was like, were there midgets living here? You know, it was one of the best and the worst experience. That was tough. 8 showers for 200 people, right?
Wow.
Exactly, right? So, you know, you had to take a Hollywood shower. I say that because when I first entered the academy, they had community policing written on the steps and was spelled out on each step what it meant. And the analogy is that when I went back there some 20 years later, it had faded and you barely could see it, and they hadn't freshened it up. Because that's the first thing as the recruits came in through that door, that's the first thing you saw every morning as you went up the steps was this community. It was embedded in your mind. And the fact that they let it just fade and not freshen it up, it said something to me when I walked in and saw that. So I was like, wow. Anything else, Eric, before we let you go with his comments? Because, Winston has really
my other comment for your guest was, now that the election's over and you're still in the fight, what is your take on how do we get back to the mindset of community instead of community?
I love that. Bring back the concept of humanity, that we are all in this together, whether you're Caribbean American, Haitian American, wherever you are. The system doesn't divide us like that. They're just like, as long as you're not on the other side, you're the other side. And then they're oppressing. We are all being oppressed. And as you talk about community, there is not community without unity. We need to start united.
There you go. Thank you, Eric. We got to grab these other calls.
Thank you.
Good morning, Siddiqui. Wow, we must have woke up the bear. Good morning, Siddiqui. How's things down there in Nubian Square, sir? Siddiqui?
Hello?
Siddiqui?
Hello?
Okay. I think we lost him.
I was thinking T. Michael.
Go. Let's grab these comments. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking maybe T. Michael Thomas might be listening, and he might come in for a comment in regards to what's going on.
This might be Siddiqui.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hello?
I think it might be
the call dropped.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we hung up on him. He said it was Siddiqui. I said hang up on him.
Hey, I'm used to that. I'm
Good morning, Siddiqui. You want
how
to
you doing?
Good.
Yeah, just very quickly, I just want to come. I heard the brother talking about, and a lot of times we hear the whole thing about the various communities that we have out here that don't communicate and connect. Well, look, I just wanted to put out there quickly that we invite folks to participate in the Kwanzaa committee, and it's more than just a celebration itself. It's a bringing together of various groupings with an understanding that the spirit of Kwanzaa has to happen 365 days of the year. So we have wall-to-wall people that come out at all ages from different groupings, and nobody says, well, are you from Haiti or are you from Jamaica? No. Folks come together, they work together on an ongoing basis, and so I'm encouraging the brothers to spread the word with that. In fact, on the 6th of December, there's going to be a training on how to do the ceremony at what we refer to as the Nubian Library down in Nubian Square at 1 o'clock. So it's becoming much more expansive, a lot of folks involved, and we have quite a few folks from Haiti who not only attend, but actually work with us in terms of the organizing aspects. We got like about 20 organizations under the umbrella of the Community Kwanzaa Committee. So we just encourage folks to come on out.
This is definitely what we need, and it sounds like you're offering Brother Winston to come on, because I think the more we are interacting with each other, we find that while we're all suffering, we're just suffering in different silos, but the suffering is the same across the board. And until we get back to working together,
absolutely,
what they always say, we perish together or we'll perish alone.
Right.
No, divided we fall and united we stand. So that's how we got to work again. Get back together.
Siddiqui, I was going to say, because I was looking at my phone and I don't have your number in there. I know I've had it, but I've switched phones. If you still have mine, send it. I can share it with Winston, because I think we need to build these coalitions, right, where we're coming together in the community from different parts of the city, but even us who are outside the city that still care.
Absolutely. Please.
Rhodes and we don't live in the city. We could just say nice in our neighborhood, but we care about our folks.
And let me just say very quickly, just in terms of the community and the positives, is that this is the 49th Kwanzaa celebration. There's going to be a big one. But the most important thing is I'm the chairman emeritus. I've got younger folks
now who are running the committee, doing an excellent job.
Okay.
And so, that's why we say it's really important that, like, when somebody comes out to a celebration and I meet them for the first time in the greeting, you can pick up the Haitian accent. We don't say you from Haiti. We don't say, we just shake hands and hug. You know what I mean? That's the spirit of Kwanzaa and bringing folks together. So we encourage our folks
you
to
have
come
to
on
learn
out.
how to greet our brothers and sisters like Jamal. Okay.
Greet them in their native tongue.
There you go.
They do
goes a long way.
Bully, right?
Yeah.
So Siddiqui, if you could, sir, if you would send me your contact information so I can share with Brother Winston, and I can have it updated in my phone. I was looking, I'm like, I know I've had Siddiqui in here, but it's not in there. I appreciate it, and we definitely want to get involved more with the work that you and others are doing in the community. Absolutely. But also building this brother up, because, like I said, it's rare that folks stick around when they don't win. That spoils sports. So if he's still interested in doing the work, we should be supporting that aspect of it. Whether or not you support a campaign or not, people doing the work should be supported and elevated for doing so. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Pastor Hobbs, let's grab these comments, and then we'll hear from Brother Jamal. Oh, good.
Absolutely. So there's a Yolanda Paris, and she is saying that one, she said we need more education. She said she grew up in Roxbury and she went to school in South Boston. We need more education available on elected officials, period.
Yeah.
Right? And she also asked where can she donate, and that is that's $capital BPRTV, $capital BPRTV. You can also go to www.bostonpraiseradio.tv. That's our main webpage. That's 24 hours a day, right? And you can just click the donate button.
Right. And let folks be clear when you're doing MAMLEO is fine. We support our own broadcast financially here. We want these donations to go to Boston Praise Radio for the other talents that are here, and so that we can build this up. Because I think folks, clearly you can see when there is an appetite for this type of conversation. There is a need for it, right? But there's a cost associated with it as well. So thank you for those comments, and thank you for your forward donation, because it's much needed. It's definitely what we spend money on things that bring value.
Absolutely.
Here we need, and with what's going on in this country now, we need to be able to respond in real time, not just once a week. Jamal, you had anything you wanted to our brother here, Winston?
Well, just speaking, on a Pan-African tip, we understand, it's been said many times, we are all the same people. We just got dropped off at a different bus stop. Right?
Hello.
So, you speak with a little French twang.
And so do you.
Somebody else speaks with a little, a Spanish twang, Portuguese twang. So all of these places, whether it's Cape Verdean, whether it's Haitian, and a lot of people too, because we're so misinformed, a lot of people don't even realize that, Haiti and the Dominican Republic is the same landmass.
Right. They just exactly. That they decided to put that. But to that point, Jamal, you just identified different cultural things, and I think but again, I harp to you and I's relationship. That should not be taking place. So we get not only we get hung up on the cultural, but we get hung up on, well, if you had a little hiccup in your life, and I'm quote unquote squeaky clean, which is not the case. I'm saying that we can't work together. Right. That is a myth as well.
Well, once again, and I'll end on this. What has actually been disheartening for me, at least, is that oftentimes in the community, some people who I thought was the original, I don't want to say perceived enemy, but on the enemy side, they have been the people who haven't been adversarial. And what I've found is that the most adversarials were people who I actually thought we were on the same side, right? But then you find out through different character flaws and everything that everybody is not on the same side, and there's certain things that I cannot align and unify with.
Yeah.
So, I guess, that's the true meaning of what they say. Politics make strange bedfellows.
Absolutely. That's why they tell you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas.
So I never thought a lot of relationships that I would have politically or organizationally wise or personally, I would have bet the opposite way. But once again, y'all, continue, and
Jamal, I'll see you in the morning, brother. Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Peace.
Yep, go ahead.
Peace.
You had a comment there?
Yes, I do. So Sister Michelle is saying, thank you, Brother Jamal, for that. And she, with regard to talking about one, the fact that people come from other countries here, and just your education about the diaspora, right? So she's saying thank you for that. And I just want to interject my point to that. And that's, the Bible says it this way: sin is a reproach to any people, but righteousness exalts a nation, right? So how can two walk together unless they agree? Because the truth of the matter is, it's not about culture, it's about character, right? Because in that same vein, I love diversity, but I get totally frustrated. I don't get frustrated. I understand where it comes from, but I hate to continue to empower people whom are exploiting me, disrespecting me, while I'm going to a Dominican barbershop and you're disrespecting me because you think I don't speak Spanish, or a Haitian place where you're disrespecting me because you think I don't understand your language, and I'm patronizing your business because I see us as one, but yet you're giving deference to another culture or community, because that has to do with character, because that crosses culture. You can smile, I don't care what. Amen. You can smile, you can do the righteous thing, you can give me the same service that you would want. And so that's the kingdom culture that I'm talking about, that we really need to be able to advocate for, that's broader than our little silos, and that's what's going to last ultimately in the end.
And that's why I say, to your point, that's why we can't have a bad experience with one person from a different culture and say we write off the whole culture. We miss out on a whole lot,
And I love what you said, how you said, because we as African American, Black, or Latino, whatever the case, however, wherever you were born, you come from, it's that empathy for ourselves. We don't have that, right? If you have one bad experience with Haitian establishment or a Black-owned establishment, everybody's like, oh my God, I never want to go to a Black restaurant. Black restaurants are the worst, right? While if you go to any other ethnic establishment like Caucasian, you blame that individual only, not the entire race. And that self, I don't want to say self-love, but there is a lot of, we've been oppressed for so long.
We have a self-hatred for self, right?
And we're still learning how to be forgiving, how to not blame a whole race for one individual mistake. And you can see even like in TV. I mean,
we're going to short on time. Let's grab this quick call, squeeze it in. Good morning, caller. You got about a minute.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, this is the tail end of the show. So hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Close us out.
No, I was gonna say about the tail end of with terms of the academy and the sports programs and all of that. We want to be able to watch out too, because Boston Police hasn't actually been best track record with regards to the people that they put in there for the academy and the academy instructors. We want to watch out for our community. And for our kids and young adults, or even adults that go into the academy.
Absolutely.
Considering. Just look at the news. When we had the past news with Downey there was zero mention of him having been an academy instructor for as long as he did. So we want to keep that aware too, because we're going to have people in there. They should be the most vetted. They should be people like you, Larry. People that are going to be there and actually be the best example for people that want to be police officers and be the best example training.
They don't want an honest conversation, Helen, and people like yourself. That's why I have so much love and respect for you. That's why I always give you a call out, because I know you're willing to stand up for what's right. Helen, we got to do a segment with you. Matter of fact, if you're available next Saturday morning, we can do the 7 to 8 o'clock with you. We can bring all this and tie it in. I'd love to have you, or whenever your schedule allows, we'd love to take an hour with you to unpack a lot of what you bring to this broadcast. So.
Thank you. We'll definitely talk.
Okay, all right. I'll talk to you off air. Winston, we want to give you a minute to close out on, what's going on, what's next for you, and your continued work here, sir. And thank you for coming to the broadcast, sir.
No, thank you for hosting this and for the conversation we've been having. And what we can feel is that I've always said that we're on the same boat, whether you were born here or born somewhere else. As long as you're not Caucasian, you're the others. As long as you're not Italian or Irish, now it's Irish and Italian, but back on the day, they were on our boat. They were on the same side. The inequity will persist. And for those of you, for those who might still perceive Haitian American as not one of you, or for those Haitian American who might not perceive African American, we are better or different. I'm asking, I'm begging to change that mindset, because once we see we still have the highest police stop as a African American. It doesn't matter when police stop you. It doesn't matter if you are Haitian, if you are African American. As long as you're not white, they will stop you, right?
Hello.
We still have to live in the city of Boston, who has that is so rich, so much wealth. Yet our community is still the one who receive less money.
Right.
That is why at this point of the game, it's how can we recognize the humanity within one another? Because as Brother Rod stated, injustice anywhere is a threat for justice everywhere.
All right, Winston Pierre. So you have to come back, make this a regular.
Yes.
Bro, thank you for finding this.
No. Thank you for reaching out. But again, like I think just a couple of things that we need to touch upon.
Right.
Antenna Gate. I don't know what was going on with that. Let's bring that back next time we're here too.
All right. We're gone.
Dreamers, they say I am a dreamer, 'cause I still believe that anything is possible as long as you work hard. Hustle real hard, hustle real hard, hustle real hard, hustle. So if I never see ya, never get the chance to meet ya, no, I came up from the bottom, always rooting for the underdog. Hustle real hard, hustle real hard, hustle real hard, hustle. I always dream.